Hello, love, and welcome to this episode of She's Iconic. There comes a point where the high achieving woman realizes it is not that she isn't capable for her next level, it is that the version of her currently leading cannot hold it yet because she is still operating from patterns that were built for survival instead of truth. There are 5 main patterns that I see in high achieving women who feel plateaued, burnt out, or like they're working too hard for the level of success that they actually desire. The 5 main patterns I see in high achieving women are the overprover, the people pleaser, the overthinker, the outsourcer, and the overcomplicator. Which one are you? Are you all 5? Do you have all 5 going on? Because I definitely had all 5 going on. So today I'm going to walk you through what those patterns are. And I want you to ask yourself, which one is currently leading you? Because this is my work. This is what I guide my clients through. I identify the patterns, the conditionings, and the nervous system protections that are quietly capping you, your visibility, your leadership, your money, your peace, your fulfillment. So let's get there. Let's go there right now. Okay, so pattern number 1, and all of these patterns, these are things that I have worked on within, doing somatic work, doing nervous system work, and realized in myself that I have actively been rewiring for the past 2 years now. The overprover. This woman believes her value comes from how much she does. We're checking those boxes off. We're getting stuff done. We feel so productive. So she will over deliver. She will over explain, overwork, overproduce, and you feel guilty resting. Oh, Lord, this was me. This was me. I felt guilty sitting down. There was always something to be done. And you constantly are trying to earn your success. Like success is impossible unless you earn it, unless you hustle for it. And underneath it all is usually a nervous system that learned love, validation, or safety through achievement. This shows up in your business as just that weight and that burnout. You feel some kind of resentment. You feel exhaustion. You have maybe some inconsistent energy happening, creating way more than is necessary, or you have difficulty receiving. So your power here, it's not in the proving, it's not in the doing, it is the precision with what you do. I always felt like I had to over explain in my content. I felt the need to prove my depth instead of just stating something and allowing it to land. I was creating too much. I was like almost making my clients crazy with like information overload. You know, when you're like, you're hearing something from someone, you're like, whoa, this is like too much. And then you're checked out. And I was doing it from a place of overproving. Like, oh my gosh, if I don't explain this enough, then they're not going to think that I'm giving them enough. And I even did this in my bridal hair classes. I remember in the beginning when I first started teaching, oh, Lord, was I an overprover. I was like, okay, we're going to learn 3 different styles. I made the swag bags filled with all these goodies and things, which is amazing. But I packed so much information into one 3-hour class. Actually, it was a 5-hour class because after we did a hands-on portion as well, like I packed it in with value. And I noticed the students that were doing the hands-on part after I did the demo part, they were like, wait, what did you do here again? Like they were forgetting certain steps that I taught them because I taught them too much. It was information overload. So like you don't even have to do this. And it's just like something ingrained in you thinking that, oh my gosh, I have to prove myself in order to be liked, loved, chosen, right? Like, no, we actually need to strip away and you need to get really precise with the things that you are articulating and the things that you are doing. And that is powerful in itself. Okay? We don't have to stack a million bonuses on. We don't have to do this. No, we make the thing that we say or the things that we do so potent and powerful and precise. Pattern number 2. Ooh, Lord, this is one I am still actively rewiring because hell, I've been on this earth for 39 years. So this is 39 years of rewiring I'm working with here. The people pleaser. This woman shapes herself around everyone else. Oh yes, I am the master shapeshifter. I can confidently say I can make anyone like me. I I could people please to the end of the earth. And that used to be something that I was proud of. And now I'm like, that is not something to be proud of. I just want to be me. I don't want to shape myself around everyone else. That is actually not a great quality. So you may fear disappointing people. This is a big one, especially for women. We don't want to let anyone down. We could hold it all. We could do it all, especially us as mothers. We don't want to disappoint anyone. Oh no, I don't want to make them upset. I don't want to stir anything. I don't like confrontation. That used to be my thing. I was like, I don't like confrontation, so I'm going to shy away and not say the thing I actually want to freaking say. No, this is not an iconic woman leader. You may struggle with your boundaries because, again, you don't want to disappoint people because if you set a certain boundary, they might be like, oh no, I don't like that. No, you got to set those boundaries. So you may struggle with setting those boundaries. You may water yourself down. You may water yourself down to be understood, to be liked, to be chosen, to be their friend, to have them as a client, you may water yourself down and dilute yourself in order to be liked and not freak anyone out and be like, oh, this is actually really me. And what? This is you? Oh, that is not you. Why? Because you like the other version of me who watered myself down? No. You may avoid saying the hard truth. This one right here, because if you say your truth, there's going to be other people that don't agree with that truth. You become hyper aware of others' reactions. It's almost like you're like, okay, I need to emotionally regulate everyone. I don't want my husband to get upset. I don't want my children to get upset. I don't want my parents to get upset. I don't want my sister to get upset. I don't want my brother to get upset. I don't want my friend to get upset. You become so hyper aware of others' reactions, and then you try to make peace for everyone. The people pleaser. Again, this is not a good quality. It often comes from childhood. Your childhood was emotionally inconsistent. This one for me, for sure, now that I'm looking back at my life, I have amazing parents, by the way. My mother, I love her so much. My father, I love him so much. He instilled a hard work ethic in me. He was an entrepreneur. He ingrained that into my bloodstream. My mom, she is so sweet. She is so kind. She is like literally a saint on earth. I love her so much. But my childhood had some emotional inconsistency. My dad was also like, my dad was also an ex-cop. He fought in Vietnam. He had PTSD. Like there was a lot of stuff there that happens through the years, okay, where there was that emotional inconsistency. And you might even have fear of rejection. Maybe you were rejected. There's some things that happened in your life where you were rejected and you're like, oh, that doesn't feel good. I want to be chosen. So I actually, I want to please these people to choose me. I don't want to be rejected. I'll give you an example of that. I flew up to New York City in 2018 for my first ever shoot with Modern Salon magazine. And we were doing it was called Artist Connective Series. And day one was day of education. Day two, we were creating a style. We linked up with a colorist. So there's stylist and colorist. We were creating a style together to then maybe be chosen to be on the magazine cover. And fuck yeah, I wanted to be on that magazine cover. Okay, I am very competitive. I wanted that magazine cover. So what did I do? I looked at in the past, okay, what kind of images were on the cover in the past? What kind of styles did they choose? And I looked and I observed and I saw a kind of like a pattern. And I was like, ooh, I'm still going to create like a beautiful bridal style, but I'm going to do it a little bit more avant-garde. And what happened is my truest potency of my work, it didn't translate through and I wasn't chosen. I still was in the magazine and it was still a success and it was still amazing. But then I got invited back in 2022. And I remember saying to the girl that I was collaborating with, she was the colorist, I was the stylist. I was like, girl, last time I did what I thought they wanted, and this time I want to do what I fucking love, which is a gorgeous cascading pull-through braid. The whole theme was like Renaissance, and I was like, oh yes. And I put florals in the hair. Like, I was like, it was just me. And I was so proud of that style that I created. No, I did not get on the cover, but I didn't care. I was just so proud and happy of the work that I created. So instead of me having the fear of being rejected, I just owned who I was, and I just shared it. And when you do that, the right people are going to choose you. The right opportunities are going to choose you, right? So, okay, we're getting into another conversation now. So, people pleasing often comes from childhood emotional inconsistency, fear of rejection, visibility wounds. Maybe there was one time that you shared something where someone shut it down and they're like, no. So you're like, ooh, I don't want to be visible anymore. I don't want to show myself. Needing approval to feel safe. Okay, how many of us need this? We need the approval. We need the proof that it's okay to be this way. We need someone to laugh at our joke, or whatever it might be. We need someone's approval to feel safe. Okay. Now, in your business, that's where it stems from. In business, it looks like weak messaging because you're diluting yourself a little bit there. Unclear leadership because you're not putting your stake in the ground, being like, this is what I stand for, right? You're trying to people please and be like, ooh, I want to tread lightly on my beliefs here. No. Undercharging because you don't see the value of your work, or you don't want to disappoint someone with like your pricing. Avoid bold visibility. Okay. And this is a sneaky one because you're like, why would I want to avoid my visibility? Like, I want to be visible so that people could buy my offers and I could have clients. Like, no, you are quietly avoiding the bold visibility because that means people might come at you. You might have some trolls. You might have some people saying some things that don't agree with you, and you have to be okay with holding that. Attracting misaligned clients. This one, ooh, Lord, this one I can get into. When I created my beauty educator program, I remember this. Some of them were amazing, such a soul aligned fit. Others were way off and misaligned clients because I was trying to people please. I was trying to be something for everyone. I was like, of course I could save you. Of course I could help you. No. And what I learned after that is that I am meant to lead high-level clients, and that is who I'm meant to serve. And I'm owning that fully now. So when you're diluting yourself, when you're trying to people please, you may attract those misaligned clients. So is this showing up for you? Your job, okay, is not to protect everyone's feelings. Your job is to lead. And this one, again, this is the kind of work I do with you to make you feel safe with yourself so that you are your true self and you're not people pleasing. You are actually being a whole embodied leader, okay? You feel what you feel. You don't have to protect everyone's feelings. Everyone's going to feel a certain way from their own traumas and things that they've been through in their life, and that is not your responsibility. And that's not being cold. That's just setting your boundaries and being truthful with yourself. Number 3. Ha ha ha, the sneaky one, the overthinker. Our brain just goes there sometimes. This woman, she lives in those mental loops. She analyzes everything because that's safe. If I choose the right path, that's safe to me. So you're going to analyze everything. You second guess yourself. Okay. And this for me as a splenic projector, oof, I got to listen to that little whisper, that little intuition right away, or else I go right up there. You second guess yourself. You delay your decisions. You wait for certainty. You consume endless information. Does this sound like you? Does this sound like you? But underneath that overthinking is usually fear. The fear of failure, the fear of judgment, of making any kind of mistakes, the fear of making the wrong move. And because of that, you will stay stuck in preparation instead of embodiment. Now, when I was really thinking about this, okay, where do I tend to overthink things, right? I really looked back at my life and I'm like, I've made a lot of big, bold moves in my life, whether it was moving, to state, living, my living situation, to having children. I have 3 children. Like I I'm not one to tend to overthink, but when I do get into those mental loops of overthinking, it is usually because there's the fear of making the wrong move because my time is valuable as a mother. So your next level is built through self-trust, not through that perfect certainty. And I know enough in my life, trial and error, that is my 3 line in my human design. I'm the experimenter. I will do things, and I mean, I am here sharing my wisdom with you because I actually live through these things, okay? And like I said, like if I don't listen to that little splenic whisper, then I will go into that mental spiral. But what is so beneficial now that I know this work and I do this work with myself and with my clients, I notice when I start to spiral and I am able to remove myself from that. And this is exactly what I teach you inside of my world. So if you're like, yep, that's me, the overthinker, we can go ahead and see why that is happening and then rewire that within. Pattern number 4, the outsourcer. Whew, baby, this was me in the year of 2024 when I was going through an evolution from bridal stylist, educator to then educating other bridal beauties how to become coaches. And like when I was going through my evolution there, wow, I started really outsourcing my power, especially when I went through this evolution from teaching other bridal hairstylists how to become educators. And now I am the leader of the Iconic Woman. I outsourced my power a lot. This was a very crazy time for me, where I was looking outside myself for the answers. I would do this with my OBM. I was not leading. I was at our meetings. I was asking her like, "What do you think?" or asking my friends, "What do you think?" So really, yeah, I did this a lot between 2023 and 2025 when I was figuring things out and going through a transition. So this one definitely got heightened for me when I was going through a transition, and it might be for you too, or it just might be true right now. This woman constantly looks outside of herself for the answers. She thinks that someone else knows better. She doesn't really trust herself. She abandons her own intuition. She hands her power away to coaches, to strategies, to trends, to experts because no. She's not going to take the credit if she does something wrong. She's going to outsource her power. She wants to not make the wrong mistake, so she's going to ask someone else. You stop trusting your own motherfucking genius. Okay. And how this shows up in your work is you start outsourcing your messaging. Maybe you're like, ChatGPT, go ahead and do this, take it away. Or you're asking a coach, like, what hook should I do? Whatever. You start losing your voice. You're not trusting your voice. Do you know this is practice for me every fucking week to get on here and speak to you like this for me to get on stage? Okay. This is not me. I am not outsourcing my power anymore and hiding behind carousel. Like I still will write carousels. Okay. I will still do content that's written, but I will not outsource. I've done this where I've outsourced to ChatGPT and be like, does this sound right? Like, is this going to land? Is this going to hook in my clients? Like I have been guilty of that. So please do not shame yourself if you're like, oh my God, that's me. I have done that, okay? So you will start losing your voice. You will try to fit into other formulas, other people's strategies, because you're like, well, they must have the answers because they're making the amount of money and they have the lifestyle that I want and desire, so they must know. You start diluting your true essence because when you are outsourcing, you are utilizing someone else's voice. You are utilizing someone else's strategy. You are utilizing someone else's answers. And their way is not your way. And when you outsource your power, you feel so disconnected from yourself. I will never forget, I think it was the year of 2024 when I was going through this ego death, identity shift, whatever you want to call it. I reached out to one of my mentors at the time, Leanne, and I was like, how do you find your genius? Like, I was like, how the fuck did I not know what my genius was at that point? Like I was just so lost. I stopped trusting my genius because I'm like, oh my God, someone else might have the answers here for me because I don't know anymore. Like I've scaled my business to 20K months and I want to continue doing that successfully and sustainably, but someone else might have the answers. And I remember, going into a coaching program for coaches and learning their way. And then I started not to trust my way. And then I got out of that program because I'm like, no, this doesn't work for me. And it made me feel so disconnected from myself. So there may be things that you feel totally disconnected from. You may feel like, oh my God, like, ew, I read my content and that's not me. Or ew, that doesn't sound like me at all. Or ew, I don't like this strategy that I'm doing here. It doesn't fit for me. So the moment you stop outsourcing your power, your signal becomes magnetic again because it's purely you. You're not outsourcing shit. You're not asking people, what should I price this at? Or what hook should I do? Or what strategy should I use? Like, no, you know, because you've locked it in. Okay, pattern number 5, the overcomplicator. Oh, okay. This is one. The woman that believes complexity equals value. What the actual F, okay? This is one, when we started unpacking this I was going through my somatic certification and we were having a conversation and I started to uncover some things where I'm like, why am I making this more complicated? Why am I doing this? And I was like, oh my God, because I deep down have the belief that it has to be hard in order for me to get success. Or I have to have all these things in order for it to be valuable. So you may be creating way too many offers. It's overcomplicating everything, your client journey, all the things. You maybe add too much. Oh Lord, I remember doing this in my programs where it was like information overload and I just complicated everything because I thought by giving more, it was adding more value. No, keep it simple. Keep it simple. You may overbuild, you may over strategize, you're doing a million different strategies. No, keep it simple. You overwhelm yourself. But really, what is happening underneath is your nervous system does not yet feel safe with simplicity. Do I still have that in my drawer? Hold on. I wrote this down. I believe it was in 2023. All right, I will find it and I will share it in an email or something. I was going to show you the paper on screen, but anyway, I wrote it down. I think it was 2023. Simplicity. That was my word of the year because I knew I was overcomplicating a lot of shit. Because the reason why I didn't really feel safe with simplicity, because simplicity requires clarity, trust in yourself, and embodiment. Your next level is not asking you to do more and stack more things on. It's asking you to refine. And you may feel like with that refinement that you are chipping things away and you're like, oh no, that's not enough. No, it's enough. It is enough. Think about the most powerful things that where like you heard a certain quote or a certain profound thing that you learned or whatever it was. And you're like, whoa, that just landed and that was so valuable. And now I'm never going to forget that the rest of my life. How simple was it? I even think about like content I consume sometimes. Sometimes there's just that like one-liner thing that's said and you're like, oof, that landed right there. Okay. So that's that's formed by clarity, trust, and embodiment. And this honestly is exactly what I do inside of my audits, my one-to-one audits, and inside the Diamond Standard room, my mastermind. That's not really mastermind. Okay. It is intimate and we get to the root. We do not just do surface level strategy. I'm sorry. Nope. You can go to another coach for that. This is, we get in deep. We do not do trending things, not another formula. We identify the nervous system pattern, the conditioning, the leadership leaks, the identity distortion that's happening, the energetic disconnect, because once you see the real pattern, everything changes. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. And that's where we start the rewiring, baby. And it's so exciting because you're like, oh, wow, I don't have to be this way the rest of my life. No, you don't. Because once you see that real pattern, everything changes. Your business changes, your life changes. You're like, oh, yes, I feel free. Your message will sharpen, your leadership strengthens, your Visibility clears, your business simplifies, and your magnetism and aliveness, it returns. Okay, love. So you do not become the iconic woman by adding more. You become her by shedding the versions of yourself that were built for survival instead of your truth. And if you are currently feeling capped, plateaued, exhausted, scattered, like if you're circling the same level and you want to bring that aliveness back into your life and business, it is not that you need more strategy to get there, baby. It is because there is a pattern asking to be seen. And that is the work. If you are ready for an honest one-to-one audit of what's actually keeping you plateaued in your visibility, in your leadership, your money, your business, you can apply for my audit. It's down below in the description. And if this episode resonated, send it to another woman who needs this reminder today. Have a chat about it after. Be like, girl, I know I'm such a people pleaser. Oh my God, me too. Oh yeah, I overcomplicate shit. Like, have a conversation about it because you're not alone. And if you identified with all 5 of these things, one of these things, 2 of these things, you are not alone. And always remember who the fuck you are, icon. Mwah. I love you.